You want to know what I would not do again on the Disney Treasure with toddlers? I just did a 7-night sailing on the Disney Treasure with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I am spilling all my regrets and my mistakes so you don't have to make them, because I want you to have a relaxing and rejuvenating vacation. And if you follow these tricks, you will. Learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. And stick around to the end, because if you do number 10, you will be that person on the ship that everyone's kind of annoyed with. And no one wants to be that person. Don't be that person. But first, if you're new here, hi, I'm Mara, and welcome to Jetstream Adventures. I share all things Disney parks and cruises for families with little ones. So if you're looking for advice from an actual mom with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, hit subscribe so you don't miss a video. I'm also on Instagram at Jetstream Adventures, so let's be friends there too. So this first mistake is one that I've seen other videos talk about, but I have a twist on it. You're going to see a lot of videos that say head to guest services as soon as you get on the ship. And this isn't necessarily bad advice. You should talk with guest services as soon as possible when you get on the ship for a number of reasons. There are several excursions and on-ship experiences that you may not have been able to book ahead of time, especially if you're a first-time cruiser or if you've only been on a couple cruises that you're on that Castaway Silver level. Things might have filled up before you even had a chance to book them. And that's going to be your port day excursions, your adults exclusive dining, like Palo and Enchanté, drink tasting experiences, spa reservations. There are lots of things that you may have missed out on. However, there is going to be a hugely long line on embarkation day because everybody is going to guest services. The mistake here would be getting onto the ship and heading directly to guest services with your kids as an entire family unit, with any bags that you walked on board with you, and standing and waiting to talk to a guest services representative in person. That is a recipe for disaster. That is a horrible start to your cruise. Your kids are not going to want to wait in line. Everyone's going to be hangry because you're getting on around lunchtime. Disaster waiting to happen. Here's what I do recommend. One option is to have one grown-up wait in line at guest services while the other parent takes the kids down to get lunch, to go to the kids club and get signed up there. Pro tip, the kids club is open when you're first walking on the ship on embarkation day to everyone. So you as adults can take your kids down, and it's just completely open that the kids can run around and play. This is great if you've just gotten off of the Disney Cruise Line bus or your private transportation. It's about an hour, hour and a half drive. Your kids are going to be a little restless and wanting to get energy out anyway. This is a great way to do that. You can even take them up to the pool if you pack your swimsuits in your carry-on bag. Another option, if your room is ready, or if whatever the matter is, you can wait for your room to be ready, is call guest services on the phone in your stateroom rather than waiting in line in person. Yes, you may be put on hold and you may still have to wait, but I find that it's a lot easier to wait in your stateroom while you can put the TV on, have the kids watching a show. You can have one parent on the phone, the other parent unpacking. You can get multiple things done. So you may still have to wait a little bit, but it might be a lot more convenient for you. The second mistake is not doing character meet and greets right. If you watched my Day at Sea video, I talked about how crazy character meet and greets can be. The lines can get outrageously long, and our younger kids are just not meant to be able to wait in line patiently while their literal idol is standing up there in front of them. So your mistake would be hopping in line, waiting half an hour to 45 minutes to meet a character. Don't do that. The biggest lines are going to be around dinner time. People will try to meet with the character right before or after dinner in the main lobby. So avoid that as much as humanly possible. One option I love if your kids are into the princesses is the Royal Gathering, which is a meet and greet with 5 princesses that you book ahead of time for free on the Disney Cruise app. It opens about 30 days before you're sailing, and it opens midnight Eastern time on the date shown. So make sure that you have an alarm set, get on the app right at that time and book. Also keep an eye out for meet and greets during open houses at the kids club. The Oceaneers Club will have open houses where the Oceaneers Club doors are literally open and adults and kids can walk through. They do usually have some character meet and greets, and there are like no lines there because it's kind of hidden away. People don't realize that they're there. If you send your kids down to the Oceaneer Club, to the nursery, also know that they will have characters coming through to interact with the kids. And since you won't be there, they will sometimes put together like a Polaroid picture of your kids with the characters. When we were on the Wish, Rapunzel and Flynn came into the It's a Small World nursery, and they got a really cute picture of my daughter with Rapunzel and Flynn, and they put it in this cute little like wish ship like cardboard frame. It was such a nice keepsake, and it was totally free. I mean, you pay for the nursery, but just a really nice little add-on. Another way that you can meet characters is just organically throughout the ship. They will wander throughout the ship. I will say on my treasure experience, I actually did not see one character walking around. We just must not have been at the right place at the right time, because from other reviews that I've seen, families have met plenty of characters on the ship just walking around. And on other Disney cruises that I've been on, our best experiences have been just running into characters on the ship that are just kind of walking around. So bring your camera and phone with you at all times, so when you run into those characters, you can get a picture with them. So the mistake here is wasting your entire cruise in lines for character meet and greets. Know how to avoid those lines and meet characters in other ways. The third mistake that's going to make your trip miserable is trying to stand in the wrong spot for deck parties. I've seen other videos say, oh, don't miss the sail away party, it's amazing. Don't miss the pirate night deck party and other things like that. But what's frustrating, as with a lot of Disney type shows, this happens in the parks too, is that you have people camp out like ridiculously early to get the good viewing spots, or you're standing in like the way back and you can't see anything. What's nice about the treasure though is because the way the ship is set up, you have this entire upper deck that lines the sides, and you can get an amazing view walking in last minute where your kids can see everything. You don't have to prop them up. So the stage itself is located on deck 11. If you head up one more level to deck 12, there's this outer balcony that lines the pool area, and the balcony is made of glass, so you don't even have to prop your kids up. Your kids can just stand there and look through the glass. I have video of one of the deck parties that we saw standing up there, and we got there early. We got a good spot on the main deck 11, and then we were like looking around and we're like, you know what? I think our kids could actually see better if we stood up there. So we left our spot and we went up because it is that much better. And you can see from my view of the party that is definitely the place to stand. Some of these tips I'm kind of like hesitant to say because I don't want like those spots to get crowded. So the mistake here is wasting time by getting to the deck party ridiculously early and staking out a spot, or standing in a spot where your kids can't see anything anyway. Head to the upper deck level, they'll be able to see much better. The fourth mistake is booking the wrong type of transportation to the port and not thinking about transportation ahead of time. Before a Disney cruise, you should always, always, always fly or drive in the night before, stay overnight in a hotel, and then ride into the port. For the treasure, you'll be sailing out of Port Canaveral. So I recommend flying into Orlando the night before, staying in a hotel. It's a great opportunity to stay on Disney property, try out one of the amazing Disney hotels. I think you can actually make it into an experience itself. For our treasure cruise, we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge beforehand, and I did a whole review on that. So I'll link that video up here in the show notes, in the description, in the comments. But you should always get in the night before to allow for any flight delays. If you miss the boat, you miss the boat and you miss your vacation. So it's best to just get in the night before. But the Orlando airport is about an hour away from Port Canaveral, so you will need some type of transportation. Disney Cruise Line does provide buses. They are not included in your cruise fare. It is a separate additional cost, and you do have to book that ahead of time. And it's only from certain hotels. Disney Cruise Line transports from the Orlando airport and from the Disney brand hotels, not the Good Neighbor hotels, just the Disney brand hotels. So if you're staying at a hotel at the airport, like a believe it's a Hyatt that's at the airport, you can use the Disney Cruise Line bus. If you're staying at one of the Disney brand hotels, so not even like Swan and Dolphin on Disney property, because that is Marriott, just the Disney brand hotels, you can take the Disney Cruise Line transportation. Other than that, you're pretty much on your own. I would not recommend waiting to book something like an Uber day of, because not all Ubers have car seats. And if you're watching this video, it's because you have littler kids who are in car seats, and you don't want to wait until the the last minute and then not have a ride that has safe transportation. But not all transportation companies are created equal. Some mistakes that I have learned from using several different transportation companies in the Orlando area for my Disney vacations is some transportation services will provide the car seats, but not have them installed at all. Like even hooked in to the seat belt on the seat or the anchors. So if you're choosing to use private transportation, whether it's for the convenience of being able to get to the port at a specific time, or if you're staying at a hotel that does not have the Disney Cruise Line bus transportation, do your research, go with a reputable company. Number 5 goes along with that last one, and that is not staying locally the night before. Port Canaveral is located about an hour outside of Orlando. So it's easiest to fly into the Orlando airport. It's a great opportunity to stay on Disney property. You can also stay in Port Canaveral. You can stay at one of the airport hotels. Don't take a chance of missing your cruise. Make sure you have the hotel booked ahead of time. The 6th mistake is not separating your pre-embarkation stuff from your cruise stuff when you're packing. I've been on 5 Disney cruises and I've only actually done this once. It's something that I always forget to do. So don't forget this. Since you're going to stay in a hotel the night before your cruise, your vacation is kind of a 2-parter. So have within your suitcases packing cubes with a set of clothes for everyone, a set of pajamas, socks, accessories, shoes that you would need for that hotel stay and for embarkation day. Also have all the toiletries that you would need, hair tools, things like that. Have that all packed in separate packing cubes that are right on top, easily accessible. You know which suitcase they're in. They're all in one suitcase, all in one side of the suitcase ideally, so you can just open up and you don't have to rip apart everything to get to those pre-embarkation items. When I finally did that, it made that first hotel night so much easier. Then I didn't have to repack everything just to get on the ship. The 7th mistake is trying to do everything. There are so many scheduled events that you will see on the Disney Cruise Line app once you get onto the ship, and it is really overwhelming. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of really doing much of any of them. I make my vacation experience worth it by just relaxing and enjoying what the ship has to offer without really getting into the like silent DJ parties and the bingos and the like Jack's diaper race and all of these things. So don't feel like you have to do all of those scheduled events or that you're not like getting your money's worth or you're like wasting your vacation if you aren't doing all those things. It's your vacation and the ship is an experience in itself. So don't worry about doing everything that the ship has to offer. Even on a longer cruise like the 7-night sailing, it's still not possible to do everything. The 8th mistake that I have made on Disney cruises is not booking the placeholder. And what that is once you're on the ship, on the Disney Cruise Line app, or by going to guest services, you can pay a $250 deposit toward a future cruise. And if you book it within 2 years of your embarkation date, you receive at least 10% off a Disney cruise of your choice, except for very select blackout dates. The blackout dates are going to be like New Year's cruises, Christmas, not very maritime, but like the actual December 25th, like Christmas cruises. I only encountered one blackout date when I've tried to book, and that was for the literal December 25th Christmas cruise out of Galveston. There were very few blackout dates. And I say at least 10% off because Disney Cruise Line actually just sent out an email that they are offering up to 20 and 25% off of select cruises in the next year if you use your placeholder instead of the usual 10%. And it's a pretty good selection. There's Treasure Cruises, Dream, Magic, Wish, all sorts of itineraries, all sorts of dates, summer, spring, fall. That $250 counts toward your deposit and your cruise fare. The deposit for a Disney cruise is usually around 10% of the total cost. So that $250 will count towards that. So if your deposit to reserve your spot on the cruise is like $500, you'll only owe that remaining $250. It is only available while you are on the ship, and you can do it pretty easily on the app. So I definitely do recommend just doing that $250 deposit and getting that placeholder. I did not get it on the first Disney cruise that I went on. We had a 1.5-year-old. We just had one child. We were kind of in that phase of life where we're like, what are our next 2 years even going to look like? However, what I will say about the placeholder is that it is refundable. And the thing is, we actually did end up going on a second cruise within 2 years of our first cruise. So we could have used that placeholder. We ended up taking our second daughter on the Disney Wish when she was 7 months old. Pretty much as soon as she was able to get on the ship, we booked a cruise. So it's always good to just have that placeholder. You can always cancel it. You can always get your money back, but you can only get it on the cruise. The ninth mistake I will say is not bringing your phone with you around the ship and leaving it in your room. And that kind of ties in to the earlier tip I said about character meet and greets. Honestly, the best character meet and greets were just characters organically walking around the ship, and you might see them on your walk down from breakfast back to your room. You might see them at the pool. You never know when that's going to happen. So always have your phone with you and easily accessible, because they're going to be pretty quick walk-by interactions that, like, they're going to stop for a photo, but they're not going to have the professional photographers necessarily with them to get on your photo pass account like you would if you do the character meet and greets at the slotted times. So make sure you do have your phone with you around the ship. And it's also just good for just generally taking pictures with your kids. It's some of like the goofiest moments and like cutest little experiences we had just like walking around the ship. I'm glad I had my camera and my phone for. All right, this last mistake, I see families making it, and I just see the way people around them react to it. And you don't want to be that family on the ship, okay? It is bringing your big, bulky stroller on the treasure ship. Here's the thing. Your regular size strollers, you may not be able to fit through your stateroom door because it is a narrower door. For example, I know the Zoe twin stroller is designed to be able to fit through standard doorways, but the stateroom is a narrow doorway. Even like the UPPAbaby Vista, you can't fit into the stateroom door. It's a narrow doorway. So you're not even going to be able to push it into your room. As far as navigating around the ship, the treasure elevators are bigger than other cruise ships like the Magic that I've been on, but you really don't need them for just walking around the ship. And I've taken kids as little as 7 months old on Disney cruises. You just really don't need it. What I would recommend bringing is a baby carrier or like a wrap, but the strollers just get in the way. At dinner, they're going to have seats. They're going to have booster seats, height chairs that you can sit your child in. There's no need to bring the stroller, and you can't bring your stroller up to the table anyway. They make you park it at the front of the restaurant. Unfortunately, on the Disney Treasure, there's no promenade that you can walk fully around the ship. That's one thing that we enjoyed on the Magic versus the Wish class series, like the Wish and the Treasure, is that the Magic has a promenade on, I think, like the 4th level that you can walk laps around the ship. So if you're looking to get some exercise in, you can run or walk. The Treasure doesn't have anything like that. So there's really no reason to bring your stroller. If you absolutely feel like you need a stroller, and the only reason why you would is if you're really planning on going out on a port day and walking around. You're not going to need it for Castaway Cay. You're not going to need it for Lookout Cay because they have little wagons that you can bring that are free. There's really no reason to bring your stroller. If anything, bring like a very portable stroller like the UPPAbaby Manu, the UPPAbaby, I think it's like the G series, that's what I have, that you can very easily and compactly fold up. Because the other thing that's annoying is having it in your stateroom. Even if you aren't bringing it around the ship, strollers are bulky and they take up a lot of space. And you can try to shove it under your bed. That's what we did with our Zoe twin the one time we had to take it. It's just way more trouble than it's worth. There are better options. I will link some options for strollers below, and I'll link some options for some good like baby carriers, toddler carriers below too. And that is the top 10 mistakes that I have made and I see families make on the Disney Treasure. Learn from my mistakes so you can have an amazing cruise with your family. If you have any questions about the Disney Treasure, please comment below. I do actually read and respond to all of the comments, and I'm doing an entire series on the Disney Treasure. I'll link that playlist in this next screen, and how I'm going to wrap up this series is with a Q&A video. So drop your questions below and I will at least answer it in a comment, but I might even feature it in the video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. That lets me know to make more videos like this. And if you're not already, please hit subscribe. I am not finished with the Disney Treasure series yet. I have plenty more videos coming out and I don't want you to miss them. I am also on Instagram at Jetstream Adventures, so connect with me there as well. On this next screen, I am going to link the Disney Treasure playlist so you can binge the whole thing. And I'm also going to link my most recent video in the Treasure series, how to spend your day at sea with your toddlers. So check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.